Hello there. Welcome to Keep This in Mind, brought to you by SpectHealth.com, and I am David A. Specht. On today's show, I do want to talk about something that I alluded to in this morning's TikTok. And if you're not following me on TikTok, follow me on Reels, etc., you need to be doing those things. But I started talking about the big experiment, the vocation versus occupation. And before we talk about that, let's define those two terms. Your vocation is the thing that you know you're supposed to be doing, you're meant to do, the thing that gets you up in the morning. You know, when Zig Ziglar says, if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. That thing is your vocation. Your occupation is that thing that occupies your time that you get paid for. Now, they could be one and the same. If you're one of the blessed people in this world that has found their vocation, that happens to also be their occupation, and it's the thing that pays the bills and the thing that you get to do each and every day, and you're loving it. It's still work, but you're still loving it. But that's not always the case for everybody. And can I tell you, that's still even a narrow way of thinking. One of the things that I've done recently is began to do some things to test the occupation theory, that can you have an occupation and a vocation at the same time? Excuse me. Can you do what you love and do something else on top of it that you may not love, but it at least generates income? I started doing some side hustling things, and I have a whole blog about it tomorrow. So go to davidaspecht.com to read the blog first thing tomorrow about this experiment. But I will tell you this, it's not an either or proposition. It can be an and proposition. Let me explain. When you're chasing the vocation, the thing you love to do, the thing you want to do, I love helping people. I love taking somebody from their A to their B, from their current reality, and guiding them to their desired outcome. It is through coaching, it is through mentorship, it is through content. But I also have to make things work financially, and so I own some newspapers. I am wow, it's the pollen outside. I am doing different, what they call hustles these days, to generate income. And that may not be something that I absolutely love to do. But what I have learned is, as I'm going through this process, as I am stepping into the occupations, if I go into them with an open mind to say, what can I learn from these situations? What can I learn from, what skills can I develop? How can I improve as a result of the occupation? There's the obvious, right? You're getting paid. You're getting paid for your time, whether or not you work at Starbucks, whether you're an Uber driver. It doesn't matter what the occupation is. You get the money. But here's the ones that we forget about. Number 2, you get to skill up in areas like communication. You may be an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, and all of a sudden you're having to deal with coworkers and helping them. Or maybe it's customer service. Maybe it's dealing with vendors. These areas that may not have been in your vocational wheelhouse are now areas that you can grow in and develop in and be better at as a result of the occupation. Number 2, it works your work muscle. One of the things that I have learned too is that we all have the same 24 hours in a day. But some people get a whole lot more done than others. And by marrying vocation and occupation together at the same time, it forces you to really reassess where you're allocating your time and effort, to where you're like, hey, if I'm going to get all this done so that I have time to do this, I'm going to get more efficient at that. And you would never have that if all you had was the regular run-of-the-mill 8 hours. I'm going to work 8 a.m. till 4 or 8 a.m. till 5 with an hour of lunch. you don't have that option anymore because you are intermingling vocation and occupation. Because you have to, when you're being paid for your time in an occupation, you have to dedicate that to that boss, to that company, without stealing time from them. But at the same time, you're trying to build that vocation that you want to do lifelong. And so you're having to time block. And I'll go with one more because I want to be very cognizant of your time. But here's the last one. You become a better you. You become a better you because you are having to up your game in so many areas to make it work. Now, the seasonal aspect of this, you see, you're trying to go, your A is, I am working an occupation while trying to build my vocation. And your B is, I want to be 100% in my vocation. In the middle, this is where the sacrifice takes place. This is where you have to inform the family that you're not going to be as available as you once were, but understand that it's only for a season. This is where, okay, maybe you don't get to binge on Netflix or streaming service of your choice. But the best part is it's seasonal. It's not forever. And then there's one last thing that I will share, and that's this. Sometimes you find a new vocation in your occupation because you're willing to step out and try something or do something that maybe was not on your radar in the beginning. And you find out that it really does fit in with who you are. And as you develop the skill set, you really become really good at it and you really are liking it, maybe even loving it. And all of a sudden, that occupation becomes the vocation. And it takes you from that A to that B in a different way than you ever saw possible. I just want to tell you, Spect Health Coaching, Spect Coaching will help you in all areas of life, mind, body, spirit, relationships, and occupations versus vocations. Reach out to us. Go to specthealth.com. Go to davidaspect.com. Find more things there. David A. S-P-E-C-H-T, just like it's spelled on the screen, .com. You'll see my book. You'll see blogs. You'll see podcasts. You'll see videos, all kinds of things to help you move forward in your life, your vocation, and every area that you're trying to improve in. Look, it's not an either or life. It's an and life. But you've got to decide, are you willing to embrace the season? God bless.